Hello everyone, Dr. Jack Wolfson, cardiologist, natural heart doctor. Day number 28 of the Happy Heart Month event over here at Natural Heart Doctor. Again, I'm Dr. Jack Wolfson, board certified cardiologist, and we've got a fantastic morning for you right here if you're watching live. And we've got some fantastic questions from our 100-year heart tribe members, if you will. So again, all of you are inside of the 100-year heart natural heart doctor community as far as we're concerned. And again, happy to have you here, and we're answering all of the questions today that so many of you sent in. Now, we received a ton of questions, and some of them were duplicates. Some of them maybe weren't kind of pertinent to cardiovascular for today's purpose of Heart Month. So we'll try and stick with the things that are cardiovascular related. Hopefully I'm coming in loud and clear. Jump into the chat box, say hello. Amy Joy, Joyce, Amanda, Allie, Laura. Fantastic to see everybody here. I've been using fantastic a lot today. I guess it's a fantastic morning here in Colorado. It's supposed to be in the mid-30s. Drinking my cardiology coffee. All is good. Hope everything is well by you. As well. So, Laura Schuster Hill in the house, Shelly Helen's in the house, Sarah, Kim, a lot of women on this call. Where's all my guy friends? Where's all the guy members of the tribe? Annette, Elaine. I don't mind the women being in here, don't get me wrong, but hey, looking for some other dudes that are awake on a Sunday morning. Interested in heart health. I know that some men entered some questions in as well. So again, let's talk today. We'll do a Q&A, try and answer as many questions as we can, as I can. And again, feel free to jump into the chat box, ask more. I'll try and get through what I can. We may go a little bit longer than the 20 minutes because otherwise I'm going to be too rapid fire. Don't forget that you can always listen to this again. We send the replays. The replays are live on Facebook and on YouTube. So there you go. All right, let's start from the top. I'm going to name names as well. Beverly Partridge. Is there anything that can be done naturally for aortic valve disease, for an aortic valve that is narrowing? Doctor wants to do the surgery to replace the valve. Have been searching for answers. Well, let me say this, Beverly. So aortic valve is the valve that leads from the left ventricle, and the left ventricle squeezes all the blood from the heart, pumps it through the aortic valve, and there it goes to the rest of the body, to the brain, to the arms, to the legs, to all the organs. And we don't want a tight valve because if that valve is narrowed, not as much blood gets out. And if not as much blood gets out, well, we don't get enough blood flow to the areas that need it. So it can become a problem, specifically when people develop symptoms, chest pain, shortness of breath, or actually have a passing out episode that can be determined to be from aortic valve stenosis or the tightening of the valve. Now, the way that I was always trained and the way the literature supported it was you do aortic valve surgery for people with symptoms. Again, the most common one would be shortness of breath. The valve starts to get tight or stenotic, and then when it's tight enough to cause symptoms such as shortness of breath, then it's time to replace the valve. And that's pretty much how I would still do things. Now, as far as naturally reversing it, everything that we do, and remember, I'm going to say this over and over and again on this Q&A, everything that we do supports everything health and wellness. So if we talk about eat well, live well, think well, all of those items are going to help delay the progression of aortic valve disease, whether it's tight or it's leaky. All of those things that we do potentially have the ability to stop or even reverse some of these conditions. Now, again, aortic valve disease is a highly calcific situation, and it is difficult to reverse, but certainly we can do our best for a couple things. Number one, try and push the possibly inevitable as far down the road as we can. And number two, what I'm all about is let's make the most healthy version of you prior to surgery or to any procedure in order to get the best results with the least amount of toxicity, with the least amount of risk. So whether it's an atrial fibrillation ablation or a cardioversion or pharmaceuticals that you would use or surgical procedures, if we make you the best version of you, you will likely have the least amount of side effects, the least amount of risks, and the most amount of benefit from said pharmaceutical surgery or procedure. All right, Carol's in the house, Mike's in the house, Laura, Linda, Kim, Rachel's in the house, Uli, Laura Rossiter, women power, totally. The women in my house are totally in power. Allie's having a cardiology coffee. Yvonne, who else is drinking cardiology coffee on this call? Who else is still in the coffee mode? Nancy Johnson. Here we go. It's not in my cardiology coffee mug. All my mugs were in the dishwasher. So we have this other mug, and this is like a ceramic craft mug as well, made in the USA. Pretty cool product. Okay, we're day number 27 now. Happy Heart Month. Don't worry, I'll give you the word of the day in a little bit. And again, Happy Heart Month is the program, day number 27. Today is Q&A. We'll be coming in tomorrow with kind of closing ceremonies on this. We're going to try and get all the coaches, Dr. Latanza and myself on board to talk about what our favorite thing was of the month and interaction with you guys as well. So again, thank you for being here. Gail Stevenson's in the house. Amanda, I know you're a big fan of cardiology coffee. Much appreciated. Okay, let's go. Let's see here. Leslie Gold, how do I repair a heart issue that is not responding in my stress test? Of course, the cardiologist said I need a stent, which I will not do. All right, well, Leslie, I apologize. Your question is a little bit worded confusingly to me, but you qualified it and said the cardiologist said you need a stent. Here's when you need a stent. Number one, if you're in the midst of a heart attack, at that moment, you go to the emergency room, they put in a stent. I'm in total agreement with that. We'll do everything we can to prevent another event and to get you off the pharmaceuticals, okay? Number two, I talked about this previously during this month. Stents are for people with symptoms. Stents do not prevent heart attacks and they do not save lives, okay? Did you get that? You can have a 70% blockage, an 80% blockage, a 99% blockage. Stents have not been shown in randomized controlled trials to prevent heart attacks or to save lives. That is from the Courage trial. That is from the Ischemia trial. These are big trials published in mainstream journals. And again, we've got all that information if you comb through our stuff, and we'll have more on our new upcoming website. So again, if you want to deal with your symptoms with a stent, give it a try. If you want to try pharmaceuticals for your symptoms, chest pain, shortness of breath, give it a try. If you want to try a natural approach, you know where to go for that. So there we go with that. Thank you, Leslie. Let's see here. Amy Alschlager, if you have a doctor's appointment and are nervous about having your blood pressure taken, is there anything you can do to prep for the appointment? So right, this is called white coat hypertension. Now, white coat hypertension shows that your blood pressure is high in the doctor's office, but that means also that your blood pressure is likely going up whenever you're nervous, anxious, stressed out, under fear. So is your blood pressure high when you're watching the news? Is your blood pressure high when you're having an argument with the cable company? Is your blood pressure high in stressful situations? Now, here's one thing that they never follow at the doctor's office, is that the original guidelines for checking a blood pressure involve the doctor or one of the doctor's associates putting the blood pressure cuff on your arm, your brachial area, for example, and there it's supposed to sit for 5 minutes before the practitioner checks the blood pressure. Nobody does that. Nobody does that. I do that most of the time in my office. Certainly, if somebody's blood pressure comes up high or they tell me they have white coat hypertension, then we do the 5-minute approach. But ideally, before I examine someone, I'll put the blood pressure cuff on, I will examine them, and then I will check the blood pressure. That's really what the key is there. Deborah Kreppen-Miller, if Afib is due to very low potassium and magnesium, which is often true, do you still have to take aspirin forever if you change your diet and supplement with electrolytes? The question is aspirin beneficial for atrial fibrillation? And the current guidelines, which I'm of course totally in agreement with, aspirin is not considered an approach to anticoagulation for people with atrial fibrillation. So just get aspirin out of your brain. I hate aspirin. I never use aspirin. The only time I recommend aspirin is per the protocol for 3 months after a stent has been placed. Lynn Rhodes is asking about rouleau formation. She's had COVID 2 times. First time was in 2019. Yada yada yada. She's taking some enzymes, and including nattokinase and serrapeptase. Again, we like that combination product. We have Flow. We like that for rouleau. I also like Arterisol for rouleau. And ultimately, again, eat well, live well, think well is the way to go after rouleau. Becky Livingston and Zane White, they both ask questions about, they have a bicuspid aortic valve and they want to prevent surgery down the road. Again, eat well, live well, think well. And then test, don't guess. And then once we find out the results from test, don't guess, then we use that to dial in your evidence-based supplements. That is the strategy. I'm telling you right now, good food prevents the valve from getting diseased. Sunshine, sleep prevents the valve. Staying away from environmental toxins prevents the valve. Essentially, anything that would cause inflammation will ultimately lead to valvular heart disease. So let's stop the inflammation. Let's stop the immuno dysfunction as well. Stop the inflammation, stop the oxidative stress. Lots of approaches. And again, that's totally preventive, and I love doing that. So fantastic. Shelly Holland here. Has there been any research on what causes Scad? Since it mostly affects women, it seems hormonal, but I'd like to avoid a second one. Yes, spontaneous coronary artery dissection most commonly affects women. Shelly, of course, you know Danielle Denline in our group, and she is just one of the biggest spokespeople for Scad awareness. So, ultimately, if we're talking about, avoiding another episode of Scad, which fortunately is fairly uncommon, but getting more common because, again, women and men who do not eat well, do not live well, do not think well. And then again, hormonal therapy is definitely associated with it. Pregnancy with hormone fluctuations in people can be part of it as well. Stress, but then again, all these things about environmental toxins, pollutants, making sure to give your body what it needs, take away what it doesn't. Think about eating seafood, how seafood and the omega-3s helps to protect the arteries. Huge. Arterisol, huge. Things like eating liver and our liver capsules, giving the body what it needs, take away what it doesn't. That's really the key here. Yvonne O'Brien is asking about cholesterol as far as numbers. She's asking about HDL, LDL, total cholesterol. I don't even bother looking at those. We check them because you want them, the patient wants them, the client wants them. But they're not really pertinent as far as I'm concerned. What matters to me is the ApoB, ApoA ratio. Learn the ratio. The lower the ratio, the lower the risk. We want your triglycerides can be helpful. And then ultimately also we want to know about LP parentheses little a, which Donna Lott had asked about as well. Hi, LP little a. LP little a is a nasty type of LDL particle, leads to cardiovascular disease. You want to know if you have it, and then we come up with more strategies based on that. I also have a fantastic training video, naturalheartdoctor.com/LPA, if you want to learn more about that. Denise is asking about combinations of D3K2. I don't like the combination products. Test, don't guess. If you need D, take D. Get a lot of sunshine. Eat animal products. Get a lamp, sunshine lamp. Naturalheartdoctor.com lamp. Naturalheartdoctor.com/lamp, LAMP. As far as the vitamin K2, again, we can test, don't guess. Now, our multivitamin, the Natural Heart Doctor Multi, contains 45 micrograms of vitamin K2 as MK7. When we test, don't guess, that number is often enough to get us into the range of where we want to be. Jill Whitaker, my husband and I have been on paleo since December, and he's recently having pain on his right side. I'm thinking it's his gallbladder. Any natural cures for gallbladder pain? The initial pain or the initial discomfort related to gallbladder is actually in the center. It's in the center. It's epigastric is where gallbladder discomfort is. Yes, the gallbladder is located on the right side, but the way that the body is wired, the pain shows up in the center. That's where our brain feels that it's coming from. Yes, it is actually coming from the gallbladder, but it shows up in the center. Right-sided pain or right upper quadrant pain over by the liver gallbladder, if the gallbladder is severely infected, then the pain will show up there. At that point, you will know that there is a problem. The other things, of course, the liver is up in that area, but again, so are the bowels. So there could be some kind of just a bowel compaction or anything up there in the beginning of the transverse colon. So take a look at that as well. Also, right-sided pain over there. Think about shingles. Think about that. This could be an acute herpes zoster reaction where the pain came first and the rash shows up a little bit later. Keep an eye on that. And if that's what you're thinking, plenty of lysine, 1,000 milligrams 3 times a day of the amino acid lysine, along with about 5 grams of vitamin C. Check that out. And again, whenever you're having pain like that, go see your chiropractor. See what the chiropractor can do. Tanya Schuler, anything I can do to help a leaky valve? Again, eat well, live well, think well, test, don't guess. Evidence-based supplements that will help your valve as much as anything else. Woo! All right, we are just rolling along here. Which selection of your supplements do you recommend for elimination of Pvcs and Afib? Maribeth Mead, test, don't guess. I could say magnesium, I could say potassium, I could say omega-3s, I could say berberine, I could say manganese, I could say copper, I could say zinc, I could say whatever I want. But test, don't guess is your best approach. Jen Marie Kellner, if you've had a heart attack and no heart damage, but you have a stent, what's the most important thing you should be doing to prevent further events? Again, no simple answer for you, Jan. Eat well, live well, think well, test, don't guess, evidence-based supplements, and there you go. Julie Reed Willis, is there an alternative to Plavix after having a stent? Had a stent put in, yada, yada, yada. Most people need a stent for at least most people need what's called dual antiplatelet therapy, DAPT, for the first 3 months after a stent procedure. That's kind of the most common approach, obviously at a minimum. Now, most cardiologists recommend 6 months, 12 months. May also depend on the size of the stent, the length of the stent. Was the stent put in for a heart attack or not? So on and so forth. But my standard recommendation to people is at least 3 months. And after that, we can certainly have a great discussion. I am just rolling with the questions. What about this, ladies? Is this absolutely crazy? And gents that are on here, Shelly, you're welcome. Lynn, thank you. Diane's in the house. Sheila, Beverly, Prince Metals angina, diltiazem isosorbide, blockage is 40%. Again, I would look into, Beverly, a lot of different things. Again, eat well, live well, think well. Go see your chiropractor. Get adjusted. Check out Arterosil. That can be helpful as well. Mike Thompson with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. Again, it is genetically linked to have hypertrophic cardiomyopathy in some cases, but again, something has to trigger the genes. There must be something or many things going on in your life that are pushing the hypertrophy. And what can we do to reverse it? That's what we're going to talk about when I see you in person. And we've had a lot of success with that. Kim Hogendam, what about oral chelation? I'm not a big fan of heavy-duty chelators like EDTA, DMSO. I don't think they're overly helpful. I like to improve the body's natural chelation system. And for that, anything that helps to boost up glutathione will be beneficial. Binders in the gut that help bind up toxins so you get rid of them. Those are really key. For that, again, Daily Defense is our super duper product when it comes to all things health and wellness related. And then we also have the, of course, the products from Cellcore. So take a look at those, please. And let's see here. How can you increase oxygenation with low VEGF? That question was asked from Toxic Mold. Gail, you know, one of the best things to help with VEGF is berberine. Great data on berberine. So take a look at that. How important is salt and magnesium for the heart? You know, again, you know, a little bit of salt, you know, is okay. Obviously, you know, Redmond salt, Himalayan sea salt, magnesium is obviously fantastic. Magnesium, the goal for the day is at least 2 grams from food and supplements. There you go. Beverly Conaway Nash, my team can help you. I can definitely work with you from Missouri. So can anyone on my team. We can reach out to you. And again, you can order the labs directly from our website, naturalheartdoctor.com. Can binders be used when on antiplatelet after a stent? 100%. You just probably want to keep that away from the actual pharmaceutical. Let's see here. You know, as far as you know, clotting, Francis Weller, again, I love Arterial. Again, eat well, live well, think well, test, don't guess, evidence-based supplements, including Arterial. So love that as well. Steve Walters, great to see you from Byron, Illinois. Wife suffers from esophageal spasms. Again, everything, Michael, test, don't guess, but ultimately esophageal spasms can be from nitric oxide deficiency. Our heartbeat and vessel support can be very helpful as well. Let's see here. All right. Well, I mean, I've gone over 20 minutes. We've blasted through a lot of different questions. I hope that's all helped all of you. We're going to come back tomorrow with our final installment of Heart Health Month, and I want to give you the word of the day today because you've been so patiently asking. Oh, the word of the day is partner. Look at that. Whoever set this up is absolutely brilliant. Probably my girl Amanda put this all together with a partner. And again, we want to be your partners in heart health. Ask me anything. The partners in heart health. Amanda, I think that these words of the day, I think, are so good. I think we should put these together into some kind of program. Or into some kind of PDF or some, you know, that really, so we can let people know the words of Natural Heart Doctor, what we want them using. So we'll come back tomorrow. We'll wrap it up. Don't forget, fill out your calendars with the word of the day. Send it in for the $50 gift card to Natural Heart Doctor, and then also how you can also you'll be entered into the drawing for 3 people to win the triple toxin test. So again, we appreciate all of you and all your questions. Keep them coming. You can email questions. Again, ask them into the Facebook group. You know, obviously that's where we all can respond. We've got a great team surrounding us and helping us out. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Great Heart Month. And we will come back tomorrow and we'll finish it up. Be well.